With your latest news, I'm April Cummings. 244 COVID-19 tests have been carried out since Tuesday. One is positive for COVID-19, an asymptomatic traveler who tested positive following routine screening. The person will remain in isolation until considered recovered. The Cayman Islands have now reported 385 confirmed cases since our first case reported in 2020. 27 remain active. The number of people in isolation, either at a government facility or in their homes as required by the Medical Officer of Health, is 879. The latest vaccination numbers, 7,073. The Ministry of Health announced the last of the CSUN PCR testing kits acquired last year have been donated to the Ministry of Health in Jamaica and the Caribbean Public Health Agency in Trinidad. Radio Cayman's Dion Anglin has more.
36,000 kits for Jamaica were dispatched this morning, with the rest heading to CARFA in Trinidad shortly. GIS says approximately 78,000 kits were shared between the two agencies. The kits expire at the end of April, and the laboratory at the Health Services Authority won't be able to use them in time, so government decided to donate them to neighbors in need instead. We're told the donation will not result in a shortage of test kits for Cayman. Health Minister, the Honorable Dwayne Seymour, says the islands are fortunate to have been able to develop robust and scalable PCR testing capabilities early in the pandemic. He expressed gratitude to Mrs. Susan Ann Oldie, OBE, who jointly purchased the kits with the Cayman Islands government. Reporting for Radio Cayman News, I'm Dion Anglin.
In other local news, the Civil Aviation Authority of the Cayman Islands has cleared the Boeing 737 MAX to operate passenger flights, subject to close oversight, lifting the ban on the aircraft operating in the Cayman Islands airspace. This follows similar decisions from the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, the U.K. Civil Aviation Authority, and the European Union Aviation Safety Agency. The CAACI says the MAX 8 was grounded following two tragic accidents, the Lion Air Flight 610 on October 29, 2018, and Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 on March 10, 2019, killing more than 340 people. CAACI says the decision follows the approval of extensive modifications to the design of the aircraft, how it's flown, and to pilot training, as well as modifications to the aircraft's maneuvering characteristics augmentation system. The CAACI says it's working with Cayman Airways, currently the only operator of the aircraft in the territory, on the safe return of the Boeing 737 MAX to service. The Public Accounts Committee today sought more details on what caused delays and cost overruns in the Owen Roberts International Airport redevelopment project after a report by the Auditor General's Office. Sue Winspear reported to the committee that the report was a progress update as of August 2018.
The audit was carried out in 2018, so therefore it was while the project was live and it provided a snapshot in time. My office carried out this performance audit at the request of the Public Accounts Committee, and it assessed progress made with the terminal redevelopment project as at August 18 in relation to time, cost and quality.
Ms. Winspear says the 2018 report at the time contained a number of issues that were confidential and commercially sensitive, and could have, quote, created significant challenges and potentially additional cost to the public purse had they been reported publicly. The PAC determined it would be better to hold a public hearing once the risks had been lifted, hence the delay.
The audit covered three main areas: project management and governance, timescales for the project, and the total estimated cost. We found that a separate business case for the project was never prepared. Instead, the Cayman Islands Airport Authority relied on the master plan and the outline business case that was prepared for the redevelopment of all three of its airports back in 2013.
Ms. Winspear says project management was hampered by the, quote, poor performance of the lead consultant appointed, leading to numerous delays. At the time of the report, the project was expected to be completed by February 2019, much later than the original completion date of March 2018.
As at August 2018, the total estimated costs of the project was $64.37 million. This was almost 20% more than the contracted prices and 24% more than the initial cost estimate of $51.9 million. Around $5 million of this additional cost was as a result of changes made to the scope of the project by the Board of the Airport Authority after contracts have been signed.
Since the report, the Auditor General's Office has been keeping tabs on the project.
All 5 elements of the project are complete. The final cost will be no more than $74,030,000.
Chairman of the Cayman Islands Airports Authority Board of Directors Tom Guyton testified before the PAC this morning. When asked for an explanation of the cost overruns and delays,
I think if you had to point to one major factor, it'd be underperformance of the lead consultant, RS&H. Numerous delays. An example, when the drawings were first submitted, they were submitted as 100% drawings. We later found out they were no more than 75% complete, resulting in the bill of quantities being based off 75% completed documents.
PAC Chair Ezra Miller asked why the board wasn't involved in such a major decision as to taking advice from consultants on whether the drawings were complete.
There's no expertise on our board to determine if a complex set of drawings was 100% or 75%. We're relying on the experts involved, including Public Works Department, Major Projects Office, and our own project managers.
Mr. Guyton says there is potential litigation involved in the dispute between the consultant, RS&H, and the Cayman Islands Airports Authority. After an island-wide open call for individuals to share their experience of COVID through the lens, the National Gallery of the Cayman Islands launches a new online photography exhibition.
Yeah, we had an overwhelming response to the open call, which went out in October. And really we felt, as we did with our Art Under Lockdown exhibition during lockdown, that we wanted to respond to this moment and help the community, both in terms of sharing their own personal experiences, but also archive what is a really unique moment in all of our histories. And of course, as a museum or an art museum, National Gallery, part of our remit is not only to provide platforms for creativity, but archive, research, and document our community's experiences.
Themes range from family time indoors, outdoors, and nature time and community.
So there's 42 artists, and we wanted to look at different aspects of how people were coping both in lockdown, but also because we've emerged out of that in Cayman, how we've emerged out and the sort of things that we still continue to grapple with. And I think all of the photographers have really been very creative with the theme. Some of these are very personal moments that are shared with the wider public. And we're seeing a lot as well of the celebration of nature and really the beauty of the Caymanian landscape.
The online exhibition can be viewed at nationalgallery.org.ky until May 31st. The exhibition is designed as an ongoing project, and the Cayman Islands community is invited to continue to submit work. Select images will also appear in the Cayman Islands Government COVID-19 Commemorative Publication Project. For more information, email Project Coordinator Paige Jordison at assistantcurator@nationalgallery.org.ky. The Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture and Lands names Jared Miles as a Proud of Them honoree for his achievements in community service.
My biggest challenge is I am on the autism spectrum. I overcome this by socializing and engaging in my community. I am so happy to be selected as Proud of Them. It deepens my heart. Other children of Lighthouse School will see me on the billboard. For me, my achievement I got is Towards Independence by ASDAN, the Cicely Wilcox Award. And I was a champion of the National Spelling Bee 2 years in a row. And I was awarded for the Young Musician of the Year for the 12 finalists and the NCFA Awards.
You can see Jared's profile in full on the Cayman Islands Youth Services YouTube channel, along with the rest of the Round 12 Proud of Them honorees. They're also featured on billboards across Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac. That is your latest local news from Radio Cayman's newsroom. I'm April Cummings.